Most entrepreneurs are creating content without a clear strategy, without a clear understanding of the buyer journey, without understanding that their posts need to be moving their people closer to making a decision to work with them. The common advice online is to just be consistent or to keep showing up. Or like right now, you're having people selling content packs or giving out AI prompts. But all of that, if you're doing all of that, right, and it's helping you be consistent, but you don't have clarity and you don't have strategy, then you're just making noise. If you're not tracking what's working, or if you're not aligning the content that you're creating to where your audience actually is in the buyer journey, if you're not building that step-by-step progression, you are just spinning your wheels. And I want to pause right here and say this is exactly why I created the Visibility to Sales Blueprint, because it's designed to help entrepreneurs like you move from scattered content creation to building a system that actually creates buyers, not just browsers. So if that is the next step for you, DM the word call or text me at 249 200 3228. Text me the word call and we'll get you started. Now, let me ask you this. Is your content truly moving people closer to saying yes, or are you just filling up your feed? Today, we're talking about content that doesn't just get seen, but it actually builds buyer readiness. It actually gets your people ready to buy so that you and your content are not just getting attention, but you're building traction. You're actually getting people, you start seeing those sales, you start seeing people in your DMs, in your conversions, and booking those clients. Think of your content like a GPS system. For your GPS to work, for your GPS to give you clear instructions, it needs a few things from you. One, it needs the destination. Where do you want to go? Right? It needs you to input that information into the GPS, right? But the other thing that it needs is where you're starting from, right? If you do not enter where you are starting from, it cannot calculate the route to get you where you want to go, right? So you have to give it that information. You have to tell it where you're starting from and where you want to go, and then it will give you those directions. Now, when it comes to your content, you want it to do the same thing. Your content is supposed to move your people through a journey that gets them step by step closer to working with you. And so you need to understand where they're starting from. When you are building an online business and you are building on social media, your goal is to get people moving through that journey. It's to get people closer to purchasing, to saying yes, to working with you. Entertainment is not what we're there for. Now, what I'm seeing in the online space is entrepreneurs who are creating valuable content, right? Valuable tips, free advice, but they're not connecting it back to their offers, back to their paid offers. So the audience does not know what the next step is. Think about walking through Costco. When you are walking through Costco and you get to the kiosk and you find the sample, um, you pick up the sample, you taste the sample, and right there by the kiosk, there's the bag or the box for whatever it is you've tasted. So maybe they're sampling some chicken burgers and you pick up a little piece of chicken burger, you taste the patty, you're like, that's actually pretty cool flavor, right? The box of those chicken burgers is right there by the kiosk. You pick the box up and it's got like all the information about the burgers, like the ingredients, like all the marketing that they have on the box. The box is right there for you to get more information um about these chicken burgers. And if you want to purchase the chicken burgers, you never have to walk more than 20 steps from that kiosk to get the burgers. Like they're right there. The process from tasting the burger to adding the burgers to your cart is so seamless because everything is right there. Right. And your content should be doing the same thing. It should be seamless and it should all be geared towards having people add to cart, say, yes, please, say, take my money, say, I want to work with you. That's what your content is supposed to be doing, right? Think about a travel agent who comes up to you and they start showing you pictures about dream vacation, maybe Hawaii, maybe, ooh, I was in Sweden recently and that was really fun, right? So they this travel agent comes up to you and they start showing you all these pictures and you're like, oh, that's a nice beach, the sand looks so lovely, the waves were so beautiful, oh, the houses are beautiful, the condos are lovely, like whatever it is, they're showing you all these pictures. But if they don't tell you that they're a travel agent and they're selling you this package, you could be looking at all those pictures and thinking, man, you had a great vacation, without making the connection to say, I should also ask to book a vacation, right? So you want your content to clearly say that there's a next step. We're not just taking the free advice and running with it. You want to make that offer. So your advice also comes with what's the next step. Be clear about that. The other thing I'm seeing online is people spending so much time and effort trying to go viral without having a system to capture the attention, right? So you put a lot of effort into going viral, but you don't have the back end set up. So you get all this attention and then you miss out on all the attention because you didn't actually have a system to move people um through the sales process to actually start working with you. So you're putting a lot of effort on the front end, but you're not putting effort into the back end. And so it's like having this bucket with holes in it, right? So no matter how much you're filling in at the top, if your bucket has holes, giant holes, then you're not going to retain anything, right? So all your effort going into going viral doesn't make a difference because your bucket has all these holes and you're not retaining anything, right? The other thing that I'm seeing is people who are um, posting without clearly trying to connect their content to their business goals and guessing what's working instead of measuring. So, um, people are still selling content packs, right? And you're buying these content packs and you're posting these things, but they're not aligned with your business, your strategy, your audience, your business goals. So you're posting, but you don't understand what these posts are supposed to do for you. You're not creating the correct posts that will actually get you conversions. So instead, you are trying to get likes and you're trying to get shares and you're working so hard to get the engagement, and yet engagement is not a reflection of sales. Engagement is not what turns into money. It's engagement, right? So if you don't understand what to measure and if your posts or your content is not tied to your business goals, then you cannot measure your return on investment, even when that investment is your time and your effort, right? Like sometimes we think ROI and we think return on investment and we're like, oh, how much money did I spend? But the time that you're putting into creating content is also an investment. The effort that you're putting into creating that content is also an investment. And are you getting a return on investment on that content if you don't even know what to measure? So that is another issue that I'm seeing showing up online. And on top of that, another issue that I'm seeing is overcomplicated strategies, right? If you're trying to be on every platform and you're trying to do all the things everywhere all the time, you're spreading your focus so thin, and that just leads to burnout. And then it leaves you without the time to be present because you are busy doing all the things, and it's taking so much from you because you're trying to be everywhere and you're trying to do everything, right? So this becomes a problem for entrepreneurs because confused people don't buy. And if your content is not connecting the dots for your audience, then your audience is not going to do that work. You are the one who has to build a bridge between your solution and your audience's problem. They're not going to do that work. Studies in 2025 are showing that it is taking up to 50 touch points to get somebody to move from cold to a place where they are ready to purchase. And if your content is not designed strategically to move people through the journey, to move people step by step, to get them closer with each interaction, then you're missing out on those touch points. And so you lose potential buyers and you have wasted your energy because you've been working so hard and it did not get you the results that you were aiming for. Another study shows that 80% of consumers are saying that they are more likely to buy from brands that show consistent messaging across channels. So if you have not built this strategic progression and then you are hopping from platform to platform and you're trying to be in all the places, your message is not cohesive and your message becomes confusing because every place where your audience interacts with you, you're saying something a little different or greatly different or entirely different. And they're like, uh, not connecting the dots to see what it is that you offer. And so you lose out on those people. So you want to have a simplified, emotionally clear content strategy so that you can improve your conversion rates um, and actually get more customers, get those sales, right? Businesses that track performance metrics are 3 times more likely to hit their marketing goals. So you want to be taking note of the data, right? You want to be taking note of what the data is saying and where the gaps are so that your data is what is driving your decisions, not your emotions. And this is why in module 2 of the Visibility to Sales Blueprint, we map out your exact buyer journey so that you're not left guessing on what to post. Instead, you create a system that moves people closer to buying every time you show up. And then every single every time you're showing up online, you know what your post is designed to do. So you know that this is moving people closer to making a decision to work with me. So here are some things that you can focus on this week to get your content um, to start creating content that actually converts. First of all, you want to focus on buyer readiness. Clarity is what drives conversions. So you want to build content that answers your audience's real questions, that builds trust, that points them to the clear next step so that you're no longer just educating. Instead, you're guiding them towards becoming a client. And then you want to measure conversions, not just likes. You want to understand that not all your posts are about engagement. Understand which posts are about engagement, which posts are about conversion, right? So you want to start measuring which of your posts are actually moving people to the DMs, which of your posts are actually getting people to say, I want to work with you, right? And then um make sure that you are balancing out your content and including more of those posts so that you actually get conversions instead of just posting and making noise. And third, if you want content that actually builds momentum, you want to create a progression, not just posts. So instead of treating each piece of content as a standalone piece, you want to build them to work together. So you have a piece of content that sparks curiosity, that gets people thinking about the topic. You have a piece of content that deepens trust, that shows that you are an authority in this space. You have a piece of content that maybe talks about the things that they've tried that are not working. You build that connection by showing that you actually understand where they are, what your audience is going through right now. You have a post that talks to building belief, right? So you build belief in your audience, right? You're answering the question, can they do this? Because your audience probably has tried other ways to solve this problem in the past, which haven't worked. So you want to answer that question, build that belief to say, yes, they can actually complete this, show them other people who have completed this. So your testimonials, right? Show them that your program actually works. And then invite them to come and work with you. So when your content is not just the education piece and you're moving people step by step and you're, sparking their curiosity, teaching them a little bit about the topic and then showing them that they actually can do it too. This is applicable to them in their situation. All those questions that they're asking, you're answering them and then inviting them to work with you. Your content now flows as a sequence. And then it's moving your audience step by step toward working with you such that when you have a post that says, hey, I have this thing, I'm offering this thing, I have this program, the rest of your content has worked as a primer to get them to the space where they say, yeah, I actually want to work with you. You sound like you know what you're talking about. So then they make that decision to work with you. So this week, 3 things that you can do. Audit your last 10 posts and ask yourself how many of them actually led your audience to action. How many of them had a call to action that led people to work with you, right? And then also ask yourself, does my content match where my audience is in the buyer journey, right? Where they are in terms of what they need. And then create one post that is designed specifically for someone who is ready to buy. A clear, direct, action-oriented post. What I want you to take away from this episode is that your content is not failing. It's just missing direction. You just need a few key tweaks to turn your content from a guessing game, from a post and pray, to a system, a conversion system that will bring buyers in. And if you want to learn how to build this content system, then again, text the word call to 249-200-3228 or DM me on Instagram. Comment on this video, DM me on Facebook at The Present CEO, DM the word call, and we can get you started and building out your content strategy so that you have a conversion system. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe so you don't miss another one. Take a picture and tag me in your stories. Make sure I'm smiling. So that I can celebrate you and we can build a breadcrumb trail for other entrepreneurs to find this information and also build their legacy businesses. And until next time, have a good one. Hey, you made it to this screen, and that tells me that you find value in what I'm sharing, and I am so honored. And for that, I would love to share some curated suggestions of other videos that you will find helpful. Until next time, have a good one. And don't forget, to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.